All right, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. First of all, welcome to the eighth part of this Wreck origin story. If you are still with me, then you are probably as crazy as I am, which I love because it's a certain kind of crazy people in the world who make this world as wonderful as it is. So, welcome back. But the second thing is, this is like the fifth or sixth take that I've done of this. And I will be perfectly honest in saying, I think six out of the other seven installments of this, I did it in one take. And I think it's because this is just getting more confusing to me. So I'm going to try to break this down into three very quick parts. Number one, what happened after the Your EP tour? Check installment 7 if you don't know what that is, and slightly beyond that. In the alternate reality or real, whatever you want to say, what actually happened in this reality during that period of my life. But before I get to those two, the third part, which is the first part, is what am I talking about? Am I crazy? If you are still here listening to this story, you either think this is all a complete joke and I'm having you on, or I believe it and you're accepting that too, which, yeah, or I believe it and you think that makes me crazy. Thing is, I don't know which one it is either. I'm as confused as you are. I'm just following this because I think it's going to lead to answers. So, what is happening, and I will kind of sum it up, is that someone from an alternate version of this universe is trying to contact me and has sent me signals. I cannot decipher them other than knowing I have to send a signal back to let them know that I'm getting their communication because there's something that they're trying to tell me and they need to know that it's me, et cetera, et cetera. And you will actually play a part in helping me send a signal back. And we'll talk about that, I think, in the next installment. That's too much for now. But just take that in for a second and realize how split that would make a person to be living this reality for as many years as I have, and then to be have these dreams and waking dreams and flashes where the memories I had are now proving to maybe be wrong, and that as this person from the other universe is saying, I don't belong here. And I either have to find a way to get back or find a way to align what's happening here with what happened there in order for things, energy or whatever you want to call it to right. I don't really understand that stuff. And that, makes me more than anything determined to stay on this path because I believe that what I'm doing now, finishing the new album, reforming the band Rex so that we can continue to play live shows. September 20th at Pete's Candy Store is when the full band will be back in action. And working with the promoter and all this stuff is going to lead to a place where I can find answers and get to what I would call a safer space based on these signals that I'm getting. But it also frustrates me, and I think you can relate to this part, which is that I have always had supportive family, supportive friends, people who sometimes believed in me more than I did. I had supportive investors for quite a few years in the 90s and 2000s, and I had a supportive manager as well, and people who repeatedly said how much they love the music and all of that. And as important as all that stuff, I have the talent and the drive, except for that last part, which is I've always had the drive. I've never known how to use it and how to use it consistently. And that's what I'm fixing now. And I understand that's a big part of it. But it still boggles the mind that I could have so much going for me, a father in the music business, etc., and still kind of fall flat when it comes to achieving a bunch of the things that I wanted to achieve. Not that I won't, but that I didn't and I haven't yet. And that is confusing. It's as confusing as trying to figure out which reality is real. And I'm hoping that that stops soon. Um, but that's part one. Part two is what really happened in this reality after I recorded Your EP. So, my manager hooked me up with a producer in Pennsylvania to record my first official full album called Listen You People, which I released in 1998. I will post a link. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I don't think I understood how forceful or at least determined I needed to be to get across what I wanted from it to the people working on it, to the producer and the musicians and all of that stuff, as well as it wasn't a good fit. Now, that said, there were a couple good songs from there. The title track, Listen You People, is one of my favorites, and it's always been fun to play, and you will see why when you listen to it. But it wasn't for me. So I used, for the next recording, some musicians that I met in New York through a contact, who I played with a bunch of times. I hired them to do gigs for me in New York City and that and the area for several years. And one of them was a producer as well. So between all of them, I recorded the next thing in 2000, which was an EP called What It Is. And that still stands as one of my signature recordings. It is a recording that sounds like me through and through, and really laid the groundwork for what would eventually become Wreck. Although at this point I was still recording under the artist name Nick, the one name artist, because I am such an icon. And so I feel still very great about that recording in and of itself. And it did lead to landing a producer and all this. And I'll talk about that in the next installment. And that's what happened in this reality. Now, in this other reality, what my new memories are telling me are that we toured for your EP. The label assigned me a producer for Listen You People, who was a terrible fit. They tried to kind of homogenize what I was doing. The title track, again, charted maybe top 150, but didn't go any higher than that. And the label was concerned, and I was concerned. So I said to them, let me take over. And I found a producer for What It Is. Didn't want to spend a lot of money or the label's money or have to pay them back. So I did your EP, 7 tracks. I'm sorry, not your EP. What It Is, 7 tracks in 2000. And that was the breakout recording. There were 4 singles from that. The title track, What It Is, Micheline, On the Way Down, which was featured in a ton of movies and a couple of commercials even, just that kind of heartfelt, sad song. And Everlast, which was a bit of a minor hit, but What It Is was top 20. And On the Way Down was, I think, top 40 or something, or Micheline. So from that point on, things really changed. And I'll talk about how they changed later on. But you can see how it takes a while to bubble up to the point where you're really making the kind of impact you want in the world. But that was really starting to happen on this What It Is. And I'm going to put a link to that one too below. And then just to wrap all of this up, next time I will talk more about what happened after What It Is, how moving to New York City did change a bunch of things, why was it that I stopped recording under the artist name Nick and started to record under the name Wreck and formed that. But most importantly, how can you help me send this signal back to this other reality? That's probably the most important thing here, because until I can make that connection, I won't really fully understand what the purpose is of all of this. And I will tell you how you can help me next time.